It's 2013. It's Christmas Eve, and your mother allows you to open up one present early. You open up the present excitedly, and once you get past the tightly wrapped paper, you look at it, and it's Super Mario 3D World, or 3D Lands, as chances are more people got that, but still. Funny Wii U joke. Did you guys know that one failed? How many times have you heard that one? Hey guys, the Wii U failed. You quickly pop it into your system, and you see a 2D Mario sprite, and think about the days past. Why did I buy this game? Now, only people in the know would know this, but that was a little thing called nostalgia, and by in the know, I mean people with no life, such as myself. Even if you weren't alive during the classic Mario era, you still feel some attachment to it, and that's a little feeling called nostalgia. Going back to Mario 3D World, that's one of the most nostalgic games of all time for me. I remember getting home from school and sitting in my parents' bedroom with the TV on and seeing ads for this game and thinking, wow, this looks awesome. And I never played 3D World until 2 years after release, but I still have some very nostalgic memories connected to it. And you may wonder, people born after 2010, what is nostalgia? Well, nostalgia is, pardon my Google, a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal connections. I remember when I first played Mario 3D Land when I got my 3DS for Christmas of 2012, and I saw it on the bottom of the screen that an 8-bit Mario sprite and realized, hey, I know that one! This game also uses a Tanuki power-up for the first time in years, but I never played Mario 3 at the time, so I did not realize that. I also used to get confused with what the 3D slider meant, because I thought it made the game 3D as in gameplay and not depth perception. Kinda like that gameplay feature in Super Paper Mario. This goes to show a lot about my intelligence. Hey, do you know something that gives me a lot of nostalgia thinking about it? I remember in early 2015, I'd get home from school, start eating and watching TV, and at this time, the original Splatoon was coming out, and they had a huge marketing push for this game because, they actually wanted the Wii U to sell, which they could have done worse. But I remember the advertisements for this game had a little song that went, "You're a kid now, you're a squid now, you're a kid, you're a squid, you're a kid, you're a squid." I remember this ad coming on almost once every ad break after watching, The Amazing World of Gumball. I don't know. And clearly this marketing worked because I'd have this song stuck in my head playing on loop during math class. Maybe that's why I suck at math. But that's enough looking back at the past, because it makes me sad. Because everything sucks now. Video game companies have realized that if they include references to the past, they can make a little thing called money. And they do this by including old sprites, sound effects, doing collections, or just doing whatever for no reason. Nintendo, Capcom, and Sony are all guilty of this, but there's no one company in particular that's the biggest criminal if this was a crime, like they would be in prison for a few life sentences. That makes sense, yeah. That company being Sega, and mostly with the Sonic series. For the last 12 years in any Sonic game, Green Hill Zone has been playable or some reference to it. Green Hill Zone is the most iconic Sonic level and one of the most iconic video game levels of all time, so of course Sega wants to milk it. And hey, no problem with that. They made a problem with that. Starting in Sonic Adventure 2, we got another Green Hill Zone level, but they were able to keep it to a minimum. Until they didn't. I think we all understand how iconic it is, instantly recognizable by the music or bright green grass. But is it this good? At least the classic games had the guts to make the bright green grass levels a new thing each time. Kind of, but you get my point. Sega does this thing where if it isn't working out for them, they go back and see what worked in the past, and then do that again. I mean, yeah, when they have done this, it has given us some of the best games in the series, but I think it's a little bit dirty just to redo what worked 30 years ago because it worked then. No, I may be a dumb, stupid, dumb Sonic fan, but I have other interests.
He's in a galaxy now?
But I'm also a big fan of one of Sega's other large franchises, Super Monkey Ball. Now, when I say I'm a big Super Monkey Ball fan, I mean I'm a fan of 4 games and I've hardly touched the rest. Monkey Ball is falling on hard times for Sega, so clearly they were doing something wrong.
Innovation.
No.
What?
Yeah, so instead of looking back at why so many people didn't like the more recent Super Monkey Ball games and finding something new that they would like, they just did the same thing again. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. Now, this is one of my favorite Super Monkey Ball games, but that really isn't saying much. This game is fun, but it's just the same damn thing as the originals on the GameCube. Sega does this thing where instead of making something new, they reuse old ideas and introduce very few new gameplay mechanics just to capitalize on the fanbase that played the originals back in the day. I feel like companies are using nostalgia as an excuse for lack of originality or confidence, and quite frankly, I'm tired of this. What am I gonna do about this, you may ask? I'm gonna sit down, do nothing, and complain. I mean, look at Sonic Frontiers. A great game, no doubt, but randomly while speaking to Knuckles, he makes a reference to Angel Island, and it shows a screenshot of Sonic 3, not even making a new render or something. I actually like that one because it's making it clear that the classic Sonic games were still in the main timeline like Sonic Forces tried to retcon.
I'm sure we'll run into him again.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Or how in Mario Odyssey, arguably the biggest moment in the game, the 2D platforming portion at New Donk City, is just like Mario 1, just so they can sell a few more copies of the game by people who recognize the sprite. Or Marvel. Spider-Man No Way Home was probably the biggest nostalgia trip ever, but I feel like them including Toby and Andrew took away from the huge character dive they did with Tom Spider-Man. Because it took so many eyes away from showing that Tom Spider-Man was incredibly depressed throughout the entire movie, but less people talked about that because there's more attention to Andrew. Yeah, seeing all live-action Spider-Man all at once was like magic to my eyes, but so few people talked about the actual movie, and in every review it seems like they just skipped to the last act. Or when Doctor Strange was coming out and so many people wanted like a billion cameos, but when it came out there was a couple, but that clearly wasn't their main goal. And I like that, because instead of having eyes on an old character, we got eyes on the actual plot, and more eyes will get the flaws in that film. There's a lot. I'm tired of nostalgia being used as an arch to not tell a coherent story because they think that nobody will care.
Well, this got me angry. Now I gotta get back to playing Donkey Kong Country Returns on my Nintendo Switch. Wait, Returns? Returns?